Hi guys, welcome to Salama Short Show, and as you know, this is one of the fantastic shows you can ever get. We bring you fantastic and inspiring stories. Today, I have a pastor friend of mine. He's called Pastor KALIBALA, and I tell you, his story is very, very inspirational. This pastor has made it through despite all odds, despite all the challenges he has faced. He has continued to push in ministry, has continued to keep on going, and I tell you, we can see the fruits, we can see how the ministry has grown. So today we're having a conversation with him, and he's going to open up and tell us some of the challenges he has faced and what keeps him going, what motivates him, and what makes him continue pushing on in ministry. Hope you subscribe to the show. Hope you like, comment, tell us what you think about the show. And as we proceed, let's jump right into the show.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Yeah, so welcome to the show, and as I told you, we're having Pastor KALIBALA with us. So Pasi, karibu sana, and kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank you for having me on this show. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Richard KALIBALA. Many people call me Rich Man, but I'm glad to be here today. I'm a pastor at Kingdom Purpose Ministry. Our church is located on Jogo Road. That's how we are. I also do a lot of outreaches, crusades, but I thank God for the grace. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Right.
So Pasi, how did you find yourself in Kenya? What made you come to Kenya, maybe to do ministry in Kenya?
All right. The first time I came to Kenya, it was in 2006 when I was in Kisumu. The first time I came, I didn't come for ministry. I came for studies.
Okay.
I was in Bible school at in a place called Kajulu, Kisumu. I was there for 2 years. And then, first of all, the first time I didn't like Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like, the Uganda and Kenya are the two opposites. We are neighboring, but our cultures and everything is different.
Okay.
Yeah, here people are somehow rough and, so I said I'll just finish my studies and then I'll go back home.
Okay.
But I remember when I was in school, one of the teachers said, God has called you in Kenya, and I was like, I don't think so. So I went back, but I kept on coming back for missions here and there. And then sometime after for coming in and going back to Uganda, that's when it dawned on me that I'm called to be in this country. Mm-hmm. So I remember I'd gone for mission in Mombasa. So something happened. So the mission was cancelled. So I found myself in Nairobi. So there was a friend of mine. I asked him to give me a room just to pray as I seek for God's direction. So he gave me the room. I prayed for almost like 3 days, and then he introduced me to their church. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was the Revival Church, Buruburu. So that's when I found myself starting ministry in Kenya. That's how it happened.
So that's in 2007.
That is way in 2000. It should be 2012. Between 2012 and 2013.
So that's when you decided to be fully ministering in Kenya.
Yes.
Okay. So how has the journey been? Probably was that the time, because you've said you came to Kenya maybe to do crusades. So when did you start probably preaching? When did you realize you've been called to ministry? And how has the journey been maybe until this point?
When, like, to know when I was called into ministry, yes. To know that I was supposed to be.
I want you now to tell us your journey. Like, when did you realize you're being called to ministry? You told us you came to Kenya in 2012, but when maybe did you realize you're called into ministry, and how the journey has been all through?
All right.
Yes.
The first time when I got saved, for me, my journey was I didn't grow up in church, so I went through a lot of things as a young man, because I got saved when I was young. So I went through all this funny stuff. I done most things, been on the streets and stuff. Did this, did that. So I reached a point, and I'd gotten tired of my life. Yeah, at the age of 16, I remember I wanted to commit suicide.
Really?
Yeah, at the age of 16. It's because I grew up in the city. So I'd gone to clubs. I'd done most of the things. So I was like, what's there more to life? I'd done everything, but things weren't getting better. So I decided, as it was like, it's like the voice was telling me, the more you live, the more you will suffer. So the best way, take your life so you don't suffer anymore. That's what I did that time. So I tried to find a way of killing myself. But you know, when you have destiny, you don't just die.
Okay.
Yeah, so I tried this, but it could not happen. So in that time when I was still planning to kill myself, a man of God came to our home where I was staying by that time and preached the gospel and told me, Jesus loves you. So I was like, Jesus, who's Jesus? You know, some of us, I heard people say they used to be in Sunday school. No, for me, I didn't even know what was Jesus. I knew there was somebody, but it wasn't. So he loves me. So for me, I took it literally that if there's somebody who loves me, I think I may have a reason to live. So that word that Jesus loves you made me believe that I have a reason to live. And then he told me also God has called you. I didn't know what it meant by that time. I didn't know. So
Called you to what?
he called me to work. So I didn't know much. So I started the journey. As you know how it goes, you could grow backslide here and there, but I thank God I started things with my pastor. And started ministry with him, and immediately I got saved. After 2-3 weeks, I started being things with my pastor. And then from there, training here and there, and then that's when I realized, okay, I think this is what I'm called to, but it wasn't so serious. But the turnaround came when I'd backslidden and they came back. That's when now God told me now to choose, because I was trying to juggle between ministry, between working for God and being down there. Here life was hard. That's when I was in Uganda. Life was hard here and life was at the other side. So God told me, all right, choose me here, because the reason why I was leaving ministry, it was tough. There was no money, there was no food. We used to live on porridge and raw mangoes for weeks.
Porridge and raw mangoes?
Yes. So there's a lady who stayed around, and they was like, you guys are young people, why do you suffer here? Find jobs and find something to do. Instead of being here, you are suffering, find a job. Why do you just sit here? So I was like, I don't even know where to find a job. If you can find me one, I will do it. So anyway, the lady found me a job. A job was to be a shopkeeper.
Okay.
Yeah, and remember now I'd spent months without eating. So now I become a shopkeeper.
We were selling bread, mandazi.
My friend, there was milk, there was everything in that shop. I was very thin, more than you. You're not thin. I was so thin.
You're so thin.
So I never knew I was a big man because of the troubles I had and the problems I had. So what happened is that when I went to that shop, I revenged. I ate. I was just taking milk, bread, eggs, no water. I could eat eggs as I want because I was in the shop. I was even staying in that shop, in the room behind. So I was just staying in the shop.
The shopkeeper allowed you to?
Yeah, so just stay there. Not allowed me eat. So I was giving advice. But now the condition was, the job was, I wasn't allowed to go to church from Monday to Monday. So because of that, and remember I just got saved, so I had no roots, I backslid. I even started trying to go back to the club. But the funny thing about going back to the club, because I tested the things of God, it was really hard for me. When I went back there, I could not enjoy it. So time came, I fell out with my boss. I found myself back to to the ministry where I had run away from.
From eating mangoes and porridge?
Yeah. The same situation was still there. Porridge, mangoes, no food. So now I had to choose. Now remember, now I tested the other life and this life. So God was telling me, now here, you either choose You choose to serve me and die and go to heaven, or you leave me, go there, eat the food, eat everything, and die and go to hell. So choose one.
Choose one.
Here it was, serve me and die of anger and go to heaven. Then the option here was choose food and job and everything and die and go to hell. So for me, that's when now there was a turnaround of my life. Because I was like, there I would eat, have all the pleasures, but then lose my life. Here I may not have all the food and everything, but I will gain my life in life to come. So for me, literally, when I was beginning ministry, I wasn't beginning ministry to get a job, to get a Range Rover. You know, these days people say pastors. You just serve God because of a car, house, tithe. You know, these days people they say one tithe and stuff like that. But for me, when I was beginning ministry, I was beginning ministry to die
For God.
for God. Yeah, there was no hope, but I had to choose God. That's what when I was in Uganda. So I chose it and I was like, okay, let me just die for God. Apart from just dying for the thing of this one, let me just die for God. And then, so when I made that decision, that's when doors began to open. That's when now God began to give me boldness. That's when I began to do evangelism, by the way. Because I was with the guys in the ministry, but they were like, you can't go out and preach the gospel when you're not eaten for weeks. You fall in the road. So they refused to join me. So me, I decided alone. So to do evangelism alone. I could go knock on the gates of people and preach to them. That's how now revival began. And even these guys who thought there was no food. The first time I went out to preach, I came back when I've eaten. I came back when God has provided. That same week, for almost 2 years, we had no people joining our church. But for the very first time that week, I went out, we had a family joining our week. For the very first time, we had an offering in our church. So these guys were like, what? So the next week, all of them joined me to God. So that's when ministry began. So continuing, things began to happen. So one time, my bishop, then my pastor, had friends who are coming from Kenya to do mission in Uganda. So they came to our church. And they said, you want to support one of your guys to go to Bible school in Kenya? And they were like, nobody here can go. Only Richard. KALIBALA can do this. He's the one who does all these things. Let him go.
Let him go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when.
That's how ministry.
That's how now I even came to Kenya. Yes.
Okay, so Pasi, that's a very good story. So probably people think that pastors don't make mistakes. People think that pastors, as you have said, when someone wants to become a pastor, there are a lot of things. Maybe they are glorified or something. But maybe could you tell us probably your personal journey, some maybe of the mistakes that you've made while you're still now a pastor?
All right.
Yes.
When I've become now a pastor.
Yes.
I've made so many mistakes.
Okay.
I don't know that you'll be able to remember all of them, but let me try a few that I can be able to remember.
Maybe the key highlights probably that you maybe like
the
to
key
share.
lights that I would like to share.
Yes.
All right. Let me see the mistakes. I think the first mistake that I made, I think when I was choosing someone to marry. Sometimes, you go when the boss says don't your own understanding. For me, I was trying to do ministry in my own, So when I just found the day I married, me, I was in Israel say on a sub. She's working. You're a pastor, so and then. And I'd even tried so many dating and stuff. So I was like, let me just marry this one. She's a lady. Yeah, she's a lady. At least she's working, and I'm a ministry, so we can complement each other. I didn't take much to see God about it, or even look into who I am and who she is. Yeah, because sometimes you just marry somebody because maybe they are beautiful, because maybe they are working, or because maybe for so many reasons. So for me, that was in my life. That was the worst mistake I've ever made, because even if people told me, but for me I was like Because I remember we went to one of the bishop, and it was like he even asked the lady, "Are you going to marry a pastor?" I think there's something he didn't tell us, because it was like, you're only just marrying a man. This is a
He's a pastor.
Because even as a pastor, you're not just marrying a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You are marrying somebody who will be able to help you, to serve God better. Not just become just a normal husband. First we don't just. I think every believer is not just a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we tend to forget that we are not just normal people.
Mm-hmm.
We are in this world, but we're not of this world. Our systems are different. But sometimes we tend to behave and think we are like anybody else, and we can just do things. So in that kind of a way, we end up making mistakes. So me, I thought I just marry and things just work out.
Mm-hmm.
But now later is when our years. Then I didn't know. But now as I've grown and I've looked at my life, is when I know it was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
She was not a bad lady,
Mm-hmm.
but we were not compatible for each other.
Mm-hmm.
For her, I think with another guy they could make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But being a pastor.
Being a pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and knowing that my calling is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of us, they're pastors and they're pastors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're, you all know, they're pastors who are just there to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pastors who are just there to serve God. Their life is sold out to God.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole life was sold out to God.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't into, material and stuff. I'm looking for this. I was just there to do the will of God. And that requires a lot. A lot of prayer, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of things. And that means if your wife or your spouse doesn't understand that, then you end up crashing and having issues. Yeah. So I will not say that I'm not the wrong person. No, I'm the one who didn't understand that this one, not everything is for you. Not every car is for you. Not everyone is for you. So you would know, you must understand who you are and your calling. Then in that way, find out somebody who will be able to. So I think that was the worst mistake I've ever made in my life. But I thank God that even in our worst mistakes, God helps us through.
Okay.
Yeah. But all is good. It's it has been a challenge, it has been a journey, but through it all, I've come out stronger, and there have been a lot of challenges because of that. But I thank God that it didn't break me. It only made me stronger. Yes.
Yeah, so probably there's some people who are out there and maybe they know you as a pastor, and maybe you've even been advising them about probably marriage. So how do you feel maybe now them looking at you, probably biting you? How was that maybe the impact that maybe you've had from people now maybe talking about your marriage now that maybe it didn't maybe go as probably you'd have expected?
One thing is that at first, because in my life, when I grew up in ministry, I loved God so much. So I never expected such things to happen to me. So even before people talked, me personally, I had like, how the condemnation personal, I was condemning myself, why, and stuff like that. But and then now, even by the way, not only people talk, you lose friends. People leave you like, this one, if he couldn't even keep his marriage or stuff, how can he even, so you lose friends, church is affected and stuff like that. But one thing now that helped me through is that I had to come back to myself. Because one day when I was worried and asking a lot of questions and on the verge of giving up, because you reach those levels, just give up, and the things of ministry, just leave it alone and do something else. And because anyway, other people are there, the others even have married 5 times and they are living their lives. Why should you kill yourself over? Because we are people. Those thoughts will come. Just live your life. Let them talk if they want to talk and stuff like that. But then I had to get back to myself. I get back to my genesis. Then God had to ask me a question: who called you? So that question really: who called you? Where is your faith? Sometimes we forget that. You forget the foundation of your life. is the foundation of your salvation, and you get now. Because see, I didn't get saved because of my marriage. I didn't. God didn't save me because I was married, or He didn't save me to get married. And then sometimes in life people we lose focus. Yes, on the way as you get saved, God may bless you with a marriage, with a business, with a church. But these things, they are not God themselves. Yes, God had to take me through marriage, church, people. Those things are not God's. They never died for you on the cross. So if you lose focus of who saved you and who called you because of them, then there'll be a problem. So then I had to change my focus again. Look at the one who called me. What was the mandate? Why did He save me? So if He saved me to serve Him, no matter what I meet on the way, no matter the obstacles, I have to continue focusing on the one who called me and the assignment. So that's what I had to decide. Yes, people are talking. Yes, I've made these mistakes. But the best thing is that the mercies of God are there. The grace of God is there. And then God, people will condemn you, people will stone you. But does God does that? When they brought the woman who is caught in adultery, the law. Yeah, people will come with a lot of things. Unless they will tell a lot of things in the Bible, Because even the guys who brought the woman who was caught in adultery, they had scriptures. It wasn't in the law of Moses. If she's caught, she must be what? Sometimes, and it was true. But you see, Jesus didn't use the law on this woman. He didn't use the Bible of those days on this what? Some of us who will take the Bible and use it against people. Sure. The Bible says. In other words, so people will take the Bible used against you and try to make you guilty. Try to make you as if them are doing good and they are perfect. Because one thing I had to understand that many people have issues in their marriages, and others are even separate, but just because outwardly they're playing it out, it's only me who came on as like, I can't fake it. Many pastors are faking these things. Yeah, they're faking it just because for the name, keep the church, keep the people. But if but if most of these guys, you have to sit them down. God. If there's someone who's going to sit down and tell them, man, they'll tell you, my friend. But you see, for some of us, in our language, we have a proverb that say, the one who's caught is another thief. So the fact that for me, it came out, it was maybe in public domain, and said now he's the bad guy. He's one who has failed. But those others who are faking it, are they good? Or who are still faking it, they are fine. And that's about, and those are not even in many areas of life. Yeah, don't allow people to condemn you, stone you down, because so that's the thing I made up my mind. I don't allow anybody to stone me down. I don't allow anybody. I'll focus on the one who called me. Because when I was called, I wasn't married. And when I was called, I wasn't told that you only succeed if you have this woman in your life, or if this church is in your life. I've had many. I will share more. I've had even doing the corona thing. I've had many experiences in life. So I've learned a lot of things to trust God. So I had to stay focused. I stay focused because let me tell you, without anybody in this world helping you, but you stay focused on God, God will help you. God will make you through. God will take you through anything. So that thing helped me. Yeah, it helped me through. So I continued. So far, I've seen God helping me, and He's still helping me. I've learned a lot of things. Yeah, not to look at, because you see, when it comes more especially with the issue of marriage, now it's like that is. If that one doesn't work, then your life is finished. Especially if you're a pastor. That one doesn't work. You can't be a pastor. You can't serve God. But surely, if you look into all the word of God and stuff, many people God used. Others that failed marriages, others that prostitutes, others that so many. And God still used them.
Sure.
So, God doesn't use you because your marriage worked, or because it didn't work, or because you are married or not married, or because now for you marriage is working, so other things work, or just because this, it's just because the problem with many people, this problem is bigger than this one. So as long as I have this issue, but my marriage is okay. So there are so many things that are brought into the things of God, onto the kingdom, that doesn't really hold up. Yeah. So for me, I've learned a lot of things. I've learned to trust God no matter what. I've learned to stay focused on God no matter the voices, no matter what is happening around. Yeah.
Talking about the many things you've learned, so probably to some young people, maybe young people like myself,
Yeah.
maybe who are looking forward maybe to get married,
Yeah.
and maybe are planning to get a wife or a husband.
Yeah.
Now from your personal lessons,
Yeah.
what probably can you advise such a person? What should they maybe look out for? Yes.
All right. What I would say that don't go for what you think is right for you. Just first of all study who you are, because when it comes to marriage, this is something for your life. Don't just go for someone because maybe they are beautiful or because they are available or just because they are good. No. Study yourself, know your capacity, know what you can handle, especially if you're a guy. Don't just go for any lady. Yeah, because remember, he that finds a wife, not he that finds a girlfriend. Some of you you're looking for girlfriends, and he that finds a wife. And who's a wife? A wife, the one that you can lead, the one who can submit, the one that you have capacity to lead, counsel, and mentor. That is somebody you're able to, not somebody. The thing when it comes to marriage and stuff, there's no equality. You look for somebody, this one I'm able to handle with my calling, with who I am, and she understands that. Yeah. So, and then make sure they understand that, because some people just want to get married, and go through. And also listen to people, and so don't also do a lot of listen to people, do research, do background tests and stuff like that. Yeah. So don't. When it comes to marriage, marry someone that this one. I understand. So she understands me, who I am, especially because what really brings problem, especially in the marriage of pastors and people who even believers, when it comes to the things of God. Sometimes the things like where we go to church, how to pray in the home, things like that, where to go, whether you serve God or not. Because sometimes God will disturb your life. He told you give out. Sometimes God will tell you give out these cameras and everything, and serve me. And then your wife says no. No, it can't happen. But there are people when you tell that to God to be like, they understand. Yeah, they understand this is the servant of God. God has spoken. So things like that. You point out those things. If these people can we go as far as if you're looking for a spouse. Look for a lady that even before you were married, you see this one, I can be able to grow with this one. I can be able to lead this lady. I can be able to things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and maybe again, what advice could you also tell someone, probably a pastor, who's maybe also having a challenge? Probably they have a ministry, and maybe they're also having a challenge with the family. Maybe they don't have a balance. They are struggling to understand how maybe they'll feed both parties. Maybe they need to keep the ministry going, the family is still demanding them at home. So what advice can you give to a pastor who's having maybe that balance? Yes.
Now ministry, church, I don't know how we came to separate all these things, because church always begins at home. That's what I was saying. For example, me if I knew then, I could have found pastoring begins at home, and then it goes to other people. So there's no you can separate it. Yes, there's no you can separate. There's ministry, there's church, and then there's home here. You can't do all those kind of things. You'll be broken, because now once you become, it's like when you become a soldier. When you become a soldier, everything your life, there's no way your wife can begin to say now, balance being a soldier and balance being my husband. We in church, we're trying to mess up all these things. You can't, these things goes together. I remember Peter, when Peter was called, he had a wife, but you don't see him going back to balance. I don't know where his wife is. All these things, I'm not saying that but I don't know where we are coming with all these analogies. Balance church, balance family, balance. If your wife understands who you are, there will be no balance. But they will be there to help you do what God has called you to do. They will be that she's have something to do. And then she doesn't become part of something to do. No, you are one. How can now it becomes you and your children, your wife, you are one. By the way, you should be doing everything together. They should be that kuna hiyo familia yako tena. If now you separate them, then there will be a problem. Now you can't be able to serve two, because you can't have two masters. And now two masters here. Yeah, you have two masters because, and that's why now when you are getting married, it's like if you're a businessman, like God say you love media, you love media cameras, and you're marrying somebody, let them understand who you are. Yeah. Said no, that my husband is what, and I will support him, and I also have passion for that. I may not be also in the limelight doing what he does, but I love what he does, and I understand that. You know, that's why these gangsters are better than us. Gangsters will marry a lives as a gangster. A thief will marry a thief. Yeah, there's no day they have a problem. Yeah, if you are a thief, you marry a thief. There's no day you have a. I'm not saying marry a pastor, but marry somebody. Yeah, you see, gangsters they'll marry if they're drunkards. If two drunkards, that's why if you're born again, don't go and marry a drunkard. But if you're a drunkard, marry a drunkard. There's no day she will say you're an anuka, bombe. No, just marry. Because sometimes I even find people who are in the bar who can come and marry people in church. You have problem. Even you in the bar, this girl will have a problem. She will always be disturbing you with you never enjoy your bottle. Because you went all away from the bar to come to the church and you're not leaving the bar.
Sure.
You will not match. If you are a barman, you love drinking, marry somebody who loves drinking. There's no name that's Mbwana Solia Pombe. You buy all you drink and all of you. Yeah, if you love stealing, your wife will protect you and cover you. Because she's a thief. She will protect you and cover you. So if you are in ministry in church, marry somebody who understands who you are and what you do. There's no that she will ever hold you. If she says God has called you to Saudi Arabia, you will pack on Saudi Arabia. They'll be not there, I have a job here, so you go, my job is here, and now you go do what God has called you to do. So you're going to be my helper. Being my helper, you help me in everything. If I wake up and say I feel God is calling me somewhere, there's no questions. We go. But this thing we have today in marriages, people have problems. Oh, balance me, my husband is a pastor, he's too much into church. When you go to marriage, where was he? Because sometimes people get, if your husband was a pastor when you were married, he was too much in church. Now as married, you want him to balance church and you. You are part of it, you are part of everything. That's why Bible says, if anybody desires to be a what? People now interpret that wrongly, that now ministry begins that now you not spend more time in church, now you spend time with us. We are interpreting things in the wrong way. The Bible says, if you like to be a bishop, you must, if I'm a man of God, your family first of all is your church. So if you pastor your wife, pastor your children, pastor them to do what? To serve God. So that's why you're pastoring them. Yeah. Your ministry begins where? Why? So that you can mentor them, pastor them to be what? Why do we pastor people? We pastor people. The Bible says, go and make nations be my what? My disciples. That's why we pastor people to serve God. Every one of us who's in church. We think of just coming to church like a club of feeling good, helping people, and it's like a shrine. You come and pray for and go live your life. No. Ministry, I think people should understand what ministry is. Ministry is not just something you do and then you are different from what you do. This is your life. You have signed up for it. By the way, for information, every believer is signed up for ministry. It's only we think it's only the pastors. Because the Bible says, if you read the Ephesians, says he gave to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. So all of us are to serve God with our families and with our children. So how comes now we begin to say, now how do you balance this? How do you balance that? When you see your husband is fasting and praying, you join him. See him is going for evangelism, you pick up, you join him. With your children, you carry them, you go.
Sure.
Yes, because he's the head. But this thing of assist to Kuko, you were there. How do you have to? And that's why now many families have two heads. A wife has his own opinion, you have your own opinion. That marriage will never work. That's why many people in marriage that are not working. They're just there. Just trying to keep an end and trying to survive. And that's why many today, if you look at the media and many people are dying. Because too much. Killing themselves. Because there's too much expectation. There's too much. We're doing things the wrong way. Yes. But if you go back, how from supposed to be, how meat was supposed to be, there's no balance, interbalance that. It's all the same thing. That's my revelation about all this thing. And I think that's why now, for me now, when this tried, because my wife, instead of getting into what I was doing, she wanted me to get into what she was doing. And you can't have two visions. Support your wife. Your wife is supposed to support you. That's why if you're married and you want to go well, the Bible says the man is the head. So which means the wife has no head. You are the head. You are the eyes, you are the ears. So if you have two heads, she has this vision, you have this vision. She's supporting this other thing, you're supporting the other thing. Then you are divided. That's why marriages have issues. We keep on doing counseling everywhere. My wife, because you are going east, she's going west. You are saying we are going this way, you are going that way. That's the problem we have today. But if you are going through things the kingdom way, we don't have all these issues.
Yeah. So, Pasi, probably moving forward, what plans do you have in ministry, and maybe one day do you purpose maybe to marry again or something of the sort?
Life is how you take it. More especially if life is so good when you allow God to lead. Many of us, we want so much in charge of our lives until we miss the big picture. So for me, I won't say that whether I want to get married or I want to get married. But one thing I know that God has good plans for me. And if God leads me and brings me a good person or somebody that I know we can rhyme, why not? Yeah. So, but it's not that I'm. It's my vision, it's my focus. I can still even be single. Yeah. If God give the grace, I can still stay the way I am and continue. But also, if God gives me a gift, why not? Yeah, sometimes you don't. People say never say never. Never say never. Yeah, all I want is to be in the will of God. All I want is to be where there's peace, where there's joy. I don't want to try to force things like I must have this. People telling me you must have. What is good? Even sometimes is what is needed at this time. Yeah, if I get to a level whereby God says now, I think you need this lady and God provides her into my life. Or if God says this and that, then. But I can still stay the way I am. If God gives the grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what plans do you have in ministry?
A ministry. So far, ministry. I've done a lot of things in ministry, and during the COVID-19, it was another turning point of my ministry. During the COVID, for me, it was a turnaround. I thank God for COVID. I learned a lot of things, and so far, I think I'm good where I am, because during COVID is also I have to give up on ministry because churches are closed. We had no rent to pay. We had closed. I was like, members left. I had a small church, and then it was hit with corona. Said it died, and so I was like, ministry. Then God was like, why are you saying this finish? Why do you trust the ministry? Why do you trust people? Because they have left. I called you. So the moment I focused on God, there are many ways. So that's what now even I began doing. Right now I'm doing a lot of evangelism. Every week I do evangelism. I have a crusade, like I do 2 times. I do thrice crusade a week. I move around. Going forward, I'm trusting God for an evangelism track. Because for me, one thing I believe that the greatest mandate for ministry is to go ye into the world. Right now, Gab, the politicians are preaching their gospel all over. The people there are preaching their gospel all over. We at the church, we are busy in our churches trying to build, a religious something somewhere and just be comfortable. But these guys are aggressive. So me, for where I am right now, I need to be aggressive in reaching out reaching out and also discipling. Because the Bible says, go ye and disciple and make nations my disciples. So that's me going forward. That is what I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm going out. I'm planning to reach as many people as possible I can. As long as I'm in this body. I want to utilize it. I want to do the best I can. As long as I'm alive, the bonus that I have right now, I want to reach as many. So right now, the plans I have, I want to get a truck for the gospel. I want to move across this country. Last 2 months ago in Uganda, we went there with a crusade over there. So every year I want to be going to another country and also move around. So every year I want to go to preach in a new country. Every year I want to go to. And then as God leads, maybe try. So as the Lord provides. So for me right now, I'm sold out. Nothing can stop me. You know, people thought the thing that's at first, so now Pastor KALIBALA is finished, and now how will he do it? How will he make it? They don't understand. You know, God is amazing. When you think somebody is finished, he hasn't even started with him.
Sure.
So sometimes if you think you are finished, God hasn't even started with you. For me, it's like now I'm starting, and I'm still discovering so many things. So I encourage everybody that no matter what you face in life, no matter the challenges, I've faced many challenges in ministry, family-wise, with people. But one thing I know, every challenge, if you allow God to carry you through, it becomes a testimony. And it becomes a lesson. Everything you face in life, Gab, it's a class, it's a test, it's an exam. If you take it positively and work it through and pass it, you celebrate on the top.
Sure. So probably maybe people out there, they've heard maybe your vision, whatever thing you want to do. Maybe how can they reach you? Maybe your pages. Yes.
All right. Of course, I need so many of us to come on board because the vision that I have is big, and we'll need. One thing I know is that you can't work alone when it comes to things of God. I believe even you have to be here and what you do, you can't work alone. In everything, you need people to work with. Most of when it comes to the kingdom of God, all of us, if you're born again, you must be involved. You must be part of it. So for me, I would like people to most for prayer. Pray for me because what I feel like God wants me to do is big. So pray with me, and also when God gives you grace. Right now, I need a truck, but I know you may not be. Some people you're not able to afford to give me a truck, but you can say, Pastor, the work you do, I can be able to support you monthly. I can be able to, maybe one-time support just to be part of what God is doing in the world through you. You can reach me. My Facebook is not a page. We have a page for the church. It's Kingdom Purpose Ministry, but I'm more active on my account, which is Richman KALIBALA. Yeah. Then I don't know if I can give my phone number.
If you're okay with doing
Am I okay?
Yes.
Yeah, 07214 That's WhatsApp. You can reach me there. As the Lord leads you, you can be a blessing and we serve God together.
Amen.
Right.
Maybe if you have last words, because me I think.
Yeah, all right. The last words I'll say this is that because all right, my last word is those who are watching me. I'm a pastor, and one thing I believe is that if you are a believer, don't live just thinking your purpose is just to to marry, have a house, have children, then grow, get money, and build a house, and then die. There's more to your life than just having a house, having a wife, and having a house. All this, God has called you for something great. God has called you for a greater purpose. Find it. And remember, he says, go and make nations my disciples. All of us have a part to play. We are the find your part as a believer, as a born again, as a child of God. Ask yourself, what has God called me to do in this world? In the body of God, in the kingdom of God, what am I here for? Once you find that, you'll find purpose, you'll find life, and I'm telling you, you enjoy living. So God bless you. See you next time.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so guys, that was it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Personally, I've been inspired. I've learned a lot. You out there maybe purposing to get married. You out there, you want to have ministry. I hope from the lessons of Percy, you've been able to understand and maybe get 2 nuggets or so. Yeah, I had a friend of mine who was taking the behind the cameras. Alikuwa ananiingilia mazi. He was telling me I was not dressed to the occasion. So if you're out there and maybe you are doing clothesline mambo kama hiyo, you can dress the host, then we can market you on Salama Show. Otherwise, that's it for today. Hope you've subscribed, you like, commented down there below. Watch out for the next episode of Salama Show, and as you know, it'll be amazing. Thanks guys, that was it for today. Till next time, bye bye for now.